10 weeks, if you will, just to have kind of a preview of coming attractions, if you will. But for example, next week, the first week, we're going to get into the big picture conversation of creating your vision. You know, one of the things that we've seen before we start building a list and going on meetings and bringing in assets, it's important to have a clear vision about where you see yourself and what does that vision look like. So we start with that in the first week. And then in the second week, we get into a little bit about goal setting, but more specific, we get into what are some of the action steps that you need to be taking every day to accomplish some of those goals and that vision. And then we'll get very specific on some different ways to start approaching people in your natural market, the people you know. You know, the name of this game is you got to get FaceTime with people. How do you do it? So we'll get very specific on that in the second week. Then in the third week, we're going to look at building and growing your list. You guys have heard Meryl's even talked to you about building your list to get 1,000 names. You know, that's important for some of you not so much. But we're going to get into how to build and grow that list. If you're thinking, by the way, if you're thinking about buying a list, don't do it. Hang on till the third week. I'll give you some really good sites that you can go to, free sites to get names, phone numbers. I'll give you some good places and some good websites where you can find networking events that are going on in your area. So don't go and spend $400 or $500 on a list. And if you're thinking about it, call me before you do it and let's talk about it. I'll give you some thoughts on that. Then in the fifth, no, out of luck. Good luck with it. Tell me you didn't buy that list that's households that they say everybody has $250,000 or more in a 401k and they're all upset with their financial advisor and it's pre-scrubbed for you already. I hope you didn't buy that one. It's good. That's if you're going to spend money, that's exactly what to do it on. So we'll talk about what people are doing with that. So good. Then in the fifth week, we'll actually get into what people are saying when they're calling in corporate directors. We'll get into what people are saying when they get rebuttals. You know, I have an advisor, I'm not interested. How do you combat some of that? And even how to generate a call for referrals. You know, just because somebody gives you a referral doesn't mean that person's going to say, I'm so glad you called. How soon can you get here? You know, it's an introduction, but you still need to have a compelling story to tell them, and we'll talk about that. Then the sixth week, we're going to get into how to present an idea in a compelling manner to create urgency. One of the biggest challenges that we're faced with in this industry right now is how do you create urgency? You know, it's easy to go out and we present an idea and they say, well, let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And a week goes by and a month goes by and you know, you got hurdles you got to hit and the momentum's lost. And so we got to create some urgency in this business. So we'll talk about how to do that in the sixth week. Then in the seventh week, we're going to talk about campaigns. You know, I mentioned to you the importance of having multiple campaigns. What I'll do is I'll share with you 4 or 5 really good campaigns that I see. I talked to a lot of you guys. I'll share with you 4 or 5 campaigns and some of the nuances that I see that other people are having success with right now. We'll find out some of the campaigns that you're doing and how they're working as well. Then we're going to get into my favorite topic, which is referrals. You know, my vision for all of you at some point is all of your business comes to you from introductions and referrals. But you need to have a process in order to make that happen. So we'll talk about not only the process, but we'll talk about some do's and don'ts on how to generate referrals and be more effective at it, whether on a team or on your own. We'll talk about how you do that. Then in the 9th week, we're going to give you an outline for the in-person meeting. You know, the discovery meeting. You work awful hard to get those meetings. You don't have a luxury of winging it. So we're going to give you an outline for that, as well as I'm going to give you an outline for that casual coffee meeting. You know, a lot of you, the first meetings that you're going on are your natural prospects, and it's a casual coffee meeting. It's not a discovery meeting. You're saying, hey, I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee and tell you what I'm doing now. Well, what does that meeting look like there? You know, and so I'll give you an outline for that as well. And then on the final call, we're going to be talking about how do you get more from the ones that you've got. You know, there's 2 ways to grow this business: find new clients and get more from the ones that you've got. So we'll talk about in the last week, how do you do that? And we save that for the last week because most of you don't have any clients yet. Some of you do. So we'll talk about that then.